On this episode of Eat Sleep Drive, I go over tips I've learned when it comes time for selling cars. We replace the thrashed lip on my Evo and take it for a spin. Then we tidy up some maintenance items and get it ready to sell. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Eat Sleep Drive, an episode where I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I do to get cars ready for selling. You guys have seen a bunch of cars come and go on my channel. I tend to go through buying and selling them quite frequently, so I kind of have a decent process down, but I get a lot of questions because a lot of people see cars come and go on the channel, and I figured I would address them in today's video. We're going to be featuring the Evo here. This is a 2006 Mitsubishi Evo, and I really do love this car, but I am consolidating down to one project car, so the Evo has to go. And if you're interested, hit me up on Instagram and we can talk from there. I have already started to do some things to get it ready for selling. Just some like minor stuff that will help sell the car and make it much more presentable without investing a ton of money. And that's really the big part of what this episode is about, because yeah, I can like dump a ton of money into this car and make it absolutely perfect, but I'm not necessarily going to get that money back when it comes time to sell it. So it's a delicate balance of making it presentable, but without spending too much money that you're actually wasting money. Now, the first thing that I've already gone ahead and done, and this is not something that I do on every car, but in this case, I thought it was a good idea. I had this car professionally paint corrected and detailed. This car, I'll show you before photos here in a minute, had so many swirls, so many scratches. I knew it was just not going to present very well, and I knew it could be better. And for, you know, a decent quality, it depends who you go to, but I recommend going to the best detailer you could find, of course. I spent about $600 just to get this paint corrected. What I want to get at is, I typically wouldn't do this because, you know, say this is worth more than 10 grand, but say your car is worth 10 grand, because that's an easy number to start with. If you spend $600 on a professional detail of a $10,000 car, that's about 6% of the sale cost of the car, which in my opinion is quite a bit. If it's like a $60,000 car and you're spending $600 to get it professionally detailed, okay, that's only 1%, right? So it kind of depends on your market. It depends on how much the car is worth as to whether or not it makes sense to detail it. And even though this car is a driver quality, because it has, you know, 120,000 miles and it's not perfect, it just made sense for me to go ahead and get the paint a lot better, because a clean example of these will return a decent price on the used market, because just finding one without rust is actually quite hard, and this car is rust free. And I'll show you guys before and after videos as well. I took this car to Paul at Eastside Auto Spa in Cincinnati. He's not a sponsor or anything like that. I paid retail, but it was well worth the money. So I spent the money on the detail. For sure, spend time cleaning your car. Cleaning your car is like 80% of the way there. The last 20% is like the polishing and stuff like that. But when someone comes to see a car, you make sure it's clean. Clean up the interior. No one wants to have like trash all over the interior, dust. Like, it doesn't take that long. Just do a thorough cleaning if you're not going to professionally detail it, and you'll get most of the way there. Now, check out the front bumper here. Or I should say the front lip. It's not in great shape. The fiberglass under here is clearly showing through, and it's white, so it's super apparent, and it drives me nuts during photos. It's like that on both sides. This is just a crappy lip. But I figured it would make sense to replace the lip. Now, once again, you need to be careful not to spend too much money, and because if I went ahead and bought a factory lip and had it factory painted, that would probably be like at least $500 or $600 probably. And I probably wouldn't necessarily get that back when it comes time to sell the car. But this lip already comes polyurethane black. Now, it's not going to be a perfect match, but for a lip, it's not bad. And it was only $80. So, you know, I think it's worth the $80 to get this thing looking at least uniform in the front and not have to see this kind of crap. So these are just examples of little things that you can do to improve your car before you sell it. So we're going to start with stuff like that. We're going to do some routine maintenance. We're also going to put the car on the lift later, and I'm gonna show you guys what will differentiate your car photo-wise, even if you don't have access to the lift. But we'll get more into that, and we'll also take the car for a spin. It's a nice day outside. It's gonna be fun to burn some ethanol. So let's get started. We're gonna remove the bumper to get this lip on, and I'm gonna show you guys how. Okay, so I got the lip on and everything's actually looking pretty good with the lip. It fits surprisingly well for an eBay lip. I can't wait to show you guys the unveil. So much better than this thing. But this has turned into a little bit of a slippery slope. As you can see here, I've disassembled the grill. I was just gonna throw the emblem on, but let me show you guys. There's some metal behind the grill that was kind of like faded / a little bit of surface corrosion. So I just took them off. They're pretty easy to come off, and you can see like the one I already painted over here obviously, and then this is the other one that I just took off. But you know, I'm just gonna like take these off and paint them up because when they're on the front of the car they just look, like I said, a little bit faded. So look how nice that one looks with the black. So this is just another thing that you can do for close to free with this. I had chassis black around because I use this on my Land Cruiser, but you could also just get some regular black spray paint and just kind of clean it up a little bit. This kind of stuff goes a long way. Okay, the lip is on and I'm really happy with how it turned out. For 80 bucks, the thing fits pretty dang good. I'll get some outside shots for you guys to get a better angle, but let's take this thing for a rip. Let's head over to my buddy Adam's house because he has a lift. We're gonna throw it on his lift and then do a couple more small maintenance items. right, so we have arrived at Adams, and of course, if you have access to a lift, it makes sense to use a lift, and he's kind enough to let me use it. Gonna drop the oil, do a little oil change, and he's helping me out polishing some pipes in there, and just gonna try and make the the engine bay pop a little bit, make it look nice. And then and then the other thing that we're gonna do is take underbody photos. So a big reason that I think this Evo is desirable, at least in my eyes, is because so many of them have rusted out, and this one is actually in really good shape, honestly, especially from a rust perspective. So that's one of the things that I want to highlight, and that's something that you should definitely do if you can. Even just get it on jack stands and take photos. I obviously have access to a lift, so I could get it higher. But just like take underside photos, obviously assuming your car is in good condition, but it really helps with the sale, especially for a car like this that is known to have rust issues. So we're gonna dive in and clean this up a little bit, then we'll take some photos, and this thing will be all ready for selling. Alright guys, that's it. That wraps it up for the Evo. This thing is looking really nice, and I made a comment to Adam and said, like, I kind of don't even want to sell it now. It actually turned out so much better. New lip is on there. That was a relatively cheap and pretty easy job. Cleaned up some like little corrosion spots, put the badge back on. I think it looks way better with the badge. And then we did some like back to black type stuff here with the plastic trim because it was real faded. That looks a lot better. And then just kind of touched up some engine bay spots. Thanks to Adam for polishing my pipes. And it looks really, really good. Also drained the oil, put new oil in. I never get to the mileage limit on oil, but because of the fact that this is E85, I think it's a pretty good idea to change oil frequently and often with the E85 so you don't get fuel dilution in your oil. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're interested in the car, you know where to hit me up. Eat Sleep Drive TV on Instagram. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.